Welcome to It's a Wonderful Homestead. Today I'm out at the apiary, except every day I'm out at the apiary. It's just that today I decided to bring you along. We have two hives here and another hive that you can't see because the camera cropped. I'm just going to talk a little bit about where you can get bees and how you can put your colonies in and get them established. So first I'll show you what we have. We have 8 frame medium boxes for all of our hives. So there's 8 frames in each one of these boxes, and the depth is considered medium. There's one size smaller, one size larger. We have them elevated slightly with 2 cinder blocks, and we have these red bricks holding down our homemade plywood roofs, which are homemade because we use top entrances. You can see the bees are coming in the top, so regularly they'd come down on the bottom here. So that's basically what we do for the hives, and I'll show you inside later. But I'm just going to talk a little bit about how to get them started. So there's 3 ways you can get bees. The first and most common way to get your bees is in a package. You can get them from places like Brushy Mountain Bee Farm, Dad Ant Bee Supplies, or other companies. But it's basically just a 1 foot by, 6 inches deep and 8 inches tall box with screen, and all your workers and drones are in there. And there's a separate cage that hangs down, and the queen is separated, and she's fed through a wire mesh by the workers. So you can get that, and when you buy it, you'd have your hive set up already, and you'd literally just take your bees, hold them like this, and dump them into your frames. Then you take the queen and hook her on a frame, and put a little marshmallow or something sweet, holding her in. The workers will eat that marshmallow, and by the time they've gotten through to the queen, they'll consider her that hive's queen and will accept her. So that's one way you can start off. The next way, which is a little more secure, is by doing nukes. N-U-C. Nukes are basically a mini colony. They're 5 frames in a box, and it's a pre-established colony. You already have brood, pollen, some nectar, and a queen and workers that get along well. What you would do with a nuke is you would buy a nuke. These you can usually get locally and from some large companies. So you'd find someone locally. A good place to look is if you ever see a sign that says local honey for sale on the road, call that number or go to that person's house and ask them where they got their bees if they got them locally. They'll probably know some more local beekeepers. So you'd buy that and you'd have your colony set up, but this time you'd open it up and you'd take 5 frames out, and you'd put these 5 developed frames in their place with the queen in there, and they'll build out from there. That's what we have in all 3 of these boxes. We have nukes, and so far they're doing quite well. The third and last way to get your bees, and this is not something a lot of beginners want to do right away, is a swarm. A swarm is a good way to get your bees because you know they come from a strong colony, because a weak colony isn't going to swarm unless the only reason is because they don't like their living conditions. But usually it's because the hive was so strong that there were too many bees. So that's a good way to get them. I'm not going to go through all the steps on how to catch a swarm, but you can do it. So that's basically how to get your bees. I will go ahead and open up one of these hives and show you what it looks like inside, what a basic frame is, and what you're looking for. Alrighty, I've opened up the hive. I've removed our top box. We're letting them build their own comb, so there's not a lot of activity in there besides just building comb right now. I've carefully set that aside. All the busy bees don't really care what's going on in here over on this box. They're just working on their job, so they're not really worried that I'm moving them around right now. Now this is where everything's happening. This is where the queen is, so I've got to be careful not to mess anything up in here, but I'm just going to grab out a frame, and I'm going to need a tool for that, so I'm going to have to switch shots here. I'm going to pull one out and then turn the camera back on. Alrighty. I have one frame loose. I'm going to pull it out. It's kind of hard to do one-handed, but get ready to see honey in the making. Wow. No kidding, I was right. Honey in the making. This entire frame is a honey frame, and what that means is all of these capped cells, all these caps, underneath is honey. All these open ones are where nectar has not yet been qualified to the right humidity, etc., to be capped over as honey. The other side is the exact same thing, but even fuller. So I'm going to try and find a brood frame and show you that as well. Alright, inside this frame, there are baby bees. Alright, you can see the baby bees. Well, you can't, but I can. See baby bees in there moving around. And also the little white blobs inside there are larvae. So this is what you'd call a brood frame. The queen could be on this frame, but I don't see her anywhere. So we're going to assume she's on one of the other 7 frames. But I did want to show you that. That is what a brood frame looks like. Little larvae in there, and some mature bees that are going to emerge soon, and a lot more capped honey. The reason bees like to naturally mix it, the brood and the honey in the frame, is come winter, they want their food and next year's larvae in one spot. And if I'm not mistaken, that may be the queen right there with all the bees flocking around her. And here, that large one right there, that's a drone. They're the male bees. They're absolutely harmless. They do not have stingers. So you can pick one of them up and roll it around in your hand, no problem. Alright, so there you go. There's a tour of the inside of our developed hive, and we hope you enjoyed this video. Man, this frame is in there good.